All right, we welcome you back to Lawrence, Kansas on 810 Network. Shawnee Mission East scored the first touchdown as they're going to kick off into the end zone and force the Lions to start from the 20 once again. Shawnee Mission East looked strong early in their flex bone offense as Lawrence High got an unfortunate break on a high snap and put themselves in a bad position to try and recover a fumble that the Lancers pounced on top of to set up their offense. As the Lions will come out and try to respond. Banks Bowen, quarterbacking the Lions. He's got trips right and receiver on the left. He's got an empty backfield. Edwards will come on a jet sweep. He'll take it, and he's going to gain about 3 or 4 yards as he's wrapped up by Ash Skeels. Skeels coming up to make the play, number 47 in the middle. And the complete opposite philosophy from the Lancers, who were trying to run some clock. The Lions are up on the ball quickly. And now a quarterback draw here for Bowen. Bowen's going to take it, get to the numbers, and get the first down, as that was a design quarterback draw all the way, empty backfield. And that'll set up the Lions with 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. So the Lions get the signal from their offensive coordinator. And Bowen will be in the shotgun with Edwards to his right. He's going to fake it to him. He's got pressure coming, and he's going to avoid the first wave of Shawnee Mission East rushers. But there was a whole nother swarm coming, and that'll be a big loss for the Lions as Shawnee Mission East brought the pressure. That'll set up 2nd and 19, it looks like. Now Bowen will try to navigate the Lions toward the first down. Trouble here with 2nd down and 20. Bowen flushing to the left, trying to set his feet. He does, throws it deep and incomplete as the Lancers had good coverage downfield. And with exactly 5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, Lions are facing 3rd down and 21, it says here in Lawrence. 3rd and 21, trying to come back from a early 7-0 deficit thanks to a fumbled snap that the Lancers recovered deep in Lions territory. A lot of wide receivers on the field for the Lions. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Bowen takes a snap. Lancers only bringing 4 and almost able to get to him, and he's wrapped up, and he is eventually brought down, and it took a minute for him, but eventually Zakiah Briones was the one to make the play, and that'll be 4th down and very long for the Lions, and time to bring out the punt team as we are at 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. As Shawnee Mission East has a returner set up inside midfield. High snap, and it's away, but it is not a good punt. It is shanked out of bounds toward the cheerleaders, and the Lancers are going to begin. The referee marks it at the 20-yard line, and that is trouble as the Lions have not set up their defense very well on the first 2 drives tonight. With 4:13 to go, the Lancers will take over on the left hash. As Shawnee Mission East will take their time getting to the line of scrimmage. Probably weren't expecting to have it in the red zone after the Lions picked up that first down. as Percy leads his offense up to the line of scrimmage here. First down and 10. Motion to the right, and they're going to give it, and the Lions are going to stuff it pretty quickly as Jack Reeves was the first guy through for the Lancers. He's going to get 2 yards, set up a second down and 8, as the Lancers will let that clock roll here. Lawrence High struggled to put any sort of resistance on the Lancers on the last drive, as Shawnee Mission East has kept it simple so far. Percy, and that'll be a pre-snap penalty. It'll be offside against the Lions. And the Lancers will take those 5-yard penalties every single time as they move the ball in chunks. Just small yardage, one play at a time type offense. And it's been so far so good. They haven't had to drive very far, but they've had success so far. So second down and 8 turns into second down and 3. And now got another stoppage. The Lancers are going to take a timeout. And we're going to take one too as we head to the commercial break with Shawnee Mission East leading Lawrence 7-0. You're
Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
And we welcome you back to Lawrence, Kansas, where the Shawnee Mission East Lancers are inside of the Lions' red zone. An 0-2 team making a statement here early against a 2-0 team. The Lancers been keeping the ball between the tackles, and they'll do the same again on some counter action, and they'll get the first down as a host of Lions get there to make the stop, but not before Jack Reeves picks up another first down, and he is their workhorse as he gets a lot of carries and will continue to do so for the rest of the night, as the Lancers have first and goal from the 8-yard line. Left hash here. And taking their time as they go through their huddle. As motion to the left and a fumbled snap, and looks like the Lancers got back on top of it, as Piercy was able to get a yard out of the play. Piercy will again take his time. Lancers taking their time. That's going to be the theme of the night as they try to pull off the upset. Into the flexbone offense they go. Motion to the right, gonna hand it off, and that's Taylor taking the ball up the middle. It's Ben Taylor, senior running back. See how much the Lancers rotate their running backs. They are a largely running team, as they do not pass the ball much at all. So have second down and goal here. Piercy under center, and it's going to be a handoff, trying to get to the outside. And did he make it in? Yes, he did. That is going to be a touchdown for the Lancers. Nate Phillips was the one who was able to grab the edge and put the Lancers up 13-0 here with under a minute to go in the first quarter. And another impressive but short drive for the Lancers. And absolutely cannot complain about the start if you're the Shawnee Mission East, as they'll shift back into their field goal formation. And the snap, hold, kick, and that makes it 14-0. Got a bit of an upset brewing here in the first quarter as the Shawnee Mission East Lancers lead the Lawrence Lions 14-0. And the Lions are going to need to figure out how to move the ball on offense. You could say that the defense hasn't gotten a stop yet, but they have not been put in a very good spot as the offense gave the ball to Shawnee Mission East at the 32-yard line on the first drive and then at the 20-yard line on the second. So hard to stop an offense that's starting so close to the goal line every time. And we'll see what kind of response the Lawrence Lions offense will have. So they've scored 45 points a game so far on the year and are averaging 444.5 yards per game, which is third in 6A. But so far just have not shown that ability. So Lancers get set to kick it off. Once again, touchbacks on the last two kickoffs. And this one is a little shorter. The Lions will be forced to field it. And they're going to be stopped at the 25-yard line, as Josh Galbraith was the one who brought it across the 20-yard line. And there's an injured Shawnee Mission East Lancer. And we're going to take a quick timeout here as they tend to the injured Lancer.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows.
All right, we welcome you back to Lawrence, Kansas. It's the Lawrence Lions struggling here early. They're 2-0 on the year, but the 0-2 Shawnee Mission East Lancers have come in here tonight and inserted themselves right into this game. And we'll see how the Lions respond, down 14-0. They're going to run some counter action here, and up the middle go the Lions. That'll be about a 6-yard gain there on first down, as we're now under 40 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Lions don't have to snap the ball if they don't want to, but they are a no-huddle offense, so you can expect that they will. Bowen in the shotgun with three receivers to his right. And he's going to look for a screen pass, and it blows up. He's now improvising, rolling to his right, and eventually just going to throw that ball away as the Lancers sniffed out the wide receiver screen that the Lions were trying to set up. And that'll set up a 3rd down and 4. And probably a good idea by Bowen there to eat that throw. You don't know what could have happened, as Lancers had gotten through to the three receivers that were set up for him. Bowen in the pistol now. Takes a snap, got an option to the right, going to take it up, and he's going to be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. The Lancers have come to play on the defensive side of the ball tonight. Set up a 4th down and 4, and after the last punt by the Lions, I'm not anticipating them being excited about going to punt formation, as they might as well just go ahead and go for it on 4th down, but they're going to have the first quarter intermission to talk about it. And we're going to take a break here too and be right back with a big 4th down here for the Lawrence Lions. You're listening to 810.
That carryout comes in clutch.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
And we are back here on 810 Varsity. Joe Blake with you here tonight, as the first quarter was all Shawnee Mission East, and they can start the second quarter even better with a 4th down stop, as the Lawrence Lions actually are looking to punt. They were, before the break, looking to go for it. This will be a quick punt, much better punt than the last one that went out of bounds. And now the Lancers will have to start from their own 30-yard line, which is by far the worst field position that they've had all night, as they started from the Lions 32 and the Lions 20 on their first 2 drives and punched both of those in for scores. Lions defense will get an opportunity here to pin the Lancers back, and the official spot of the ball will be the 31-yard line. It's a beautiful night for football here. The Lancers will come up to the line of scrimmage, ready to operate on their 3rd drive. And they're going to give on the first carry. And the Lawrence Lions are ready for that one as they come up and make the stop. As Noah Richardson stepped up to make the play. And once again, Lancers going to take their time throughout the night, and now especially with the lead.
No gain on the previous play. 2nd down and 10. It looked like it went out of the 30, but he marked it on the 31.
Noah Richardson had 12 tackles on the year coming into this game, and adds another one to his total on that last play. Now the Lancers going to pitch it, and it's on the turf, and recovering it is Jack Reeves. He's reversing field, going against the grain, and he's going to be brought down at the 21-yard line. A disastrous play. The first time that the Lancers try to go outside of the tackles, it burns them as they're scooping up a fumble 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd down and 20, a position that no team running the flexbone offense wants to be in. So Lancers only with 39.5 passing yards per game, and will need to pretty much get half of that here on one play if they're going to convert on 3rd down. We'll see how they approach it. They may just run it and set up the punt. And they're going to run it, and a pretty good carry for 10 yards, but obviously well short there at the 30-yard line. So the Lions do a good job to stay disciplined there on the 3rd and long, and the Lancers will send in the punt team.
9-yard gain, 4th and 11 from the 30.
Yeah, just can't get behind the sticks when you run an offense that the Lancers do, and that's what happened there as they put the pitch on the ground. And Unlike the Lions, though, they were able to recover the ball off of their self-inflicted mistake. The Lancers set to punt. It's a good snap. And the Lions are going to watch it go out of bounds. And we'll see where the Lions take over from. Referee's going to mark it as he continues to walk down the far sideline. And they start at the 41-yard line. And we'll need to go 59 yards to cut the deficit in half. Lawrence offense moves quickly, high-paced offense. And with 9:27 here to go in the second quarter, they still have not gotten it into Shawnee Mission East territory. As Bowen leads his offense onto the field. He's in the pistol formation with a receiver on each side. He's going to hand the ball off, and good carry there for the Lions, as it was Malcolm Paul, the running back there. Malcolm Paul against Olathe West had 7 carries for 27 yards and a touchdown. Not the biggest volume, but almost 4 yards per carry, and that's can't ask for much better than that. As the Lions come out with 5 receivers. Bowen juggles the snap a little bit, rolling out to his left, sets his feet, throws a dart, and it's caught. And going up the field is number 6 for the Lions, Gabe Wingard. As Wingard gets it inside the 25-yard line. And a good play there by Bowen. First time that he's really been able to plant his feet and just throw a dart. And that's exactly what he did. And it sets up the Lions nicely here. And a good gain for the Lions trying to get back into this one. Bowen now with a running back to his left. He's going to motion him out. And it's a designed quarterback draw here. Bowen taking it, going toward the sideline. And he's going to get about 5 yards there. Jake Miller made the stop for the Lancers. As the Lions desperately need a response here after falling behind 14-0 early. Bowen once again with a running back to his right. Takes a snap. He's going to hand it to him on a counter. And that's going to go all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Lawrence Lions. And that's going to be Malcolm Paul with the carry as he scores a touchdown for the second straight week. And the Lawrence Lions offense looked like the offense that I had scouted before this game, as the first 2 drives were not to the standard that I had saw in the stat book, but there was the explosion that most were anticipating, as the extra point is low, but it is right through there. And the Lions have cut the deficit in half with 8:14 to go here in the first half. You're listening to 810 Varsity.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
That carryout comes in clutch.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence High School as the Lions, the hosts tonight, just cut the deficit from 14-0 to 14-7 off of a quick touchdown drive, and they'll kick it off to Shawnee Mission East. And it's a short kick, going to be fielded by an up man for the Lancers, who's going to try to go outside and be met by a host of black jerseys. And that'll set up the Lancers at the 31-yard line. They're actually going to give them the 33. Shawnee Mission East looking to have the same success that they had on their first two drives, as those were short drives, but they were effective drives as they both ended in the end zone. Lions were slow to start offensively, putting their defense in a couple of bad spots, and the Lancers took advantage as they're back in the wishbone. So they motion a man to the left, and looks like Piercy kept it there, and he fell across the 35-yard line. Piercy forced to make a lot of decisions in the run game, whether it's to give or to pull or to pitch. So he's a very busy quarterback despite not having thrown a pass tonight. As once again, Lancers take their time as they motion to the left, and the Lions once again jump into the neutral zone, and that'll move the Lancers closer to that first down mark. It's a 2nd and 7 turns into 2nd down and 2. Costly penalty there for the Lions. It's pretty hard to stop a wishbone team when they have 2nd down and short. Gives them 3 chances from 2 yards out. So it should be pretty favorable for the Lancers to pick up a first down. Piercy is going to give it to Reeves. Reeves finds a hole, and he's going to lower the shoulder and gain a couple extra yards up to the 45-yard line. Enough to move the chains there for Shawnee Mission East. It's the Lawrence defense looking for an answer. So we got 6:40 to go here in the second quarter. Lancers with 1st and 10. A motion to the left and give right up the middle. And that is 4 yards and a cloud of dust there. And they will once again take their time.
4-yard gain, 2nd down, 6.
One way to limit the explosive offense that the Lawrence Lions present is to keep them off the field, and that's exactly what Shawnee Mission East has been able to do so far tonight, as they're eating up the time of possession. Then again, the Lions don't need much time to score, as we just saw. 2nd and 6 here. Gonna motion to the left and give right up the middle, and that'll be a first down. And Jack Reeves does it again. And all the way down to the 42-yard line of the Lions. Once again, Lancers still with 20 on the play clock this time. Still try to motion to the right, and they got the Lions to jump again. And in high school, there's not an opportunity for a defensive lineman to get back away from the neutral zone. Once you're in there, you're going to be flagged for it, whether or not the ball is snapped. And that is a free 5 yards for the Lancers. And the clock ticks under 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. And Piercy going to give to the tailback there. And he's going to get pretty close to the first down, set up a 2nd down and short. The 0-2 Shawnee Mission East Lancers are moving the ball at will. The only drive that they did not score on was because they fumbled a toss sweep. And that was the only play that they were attempting to go onto the outside. Everything else has been between the tackles and just running it straight through this Lawrence defense. And now a fumbled snap and good awareness there by the running back. I think Jack Reeves was the one who came in there to clean that mess up. And now it gets a little interesting here as it's 3rd down and 5. And moving backwards, never a part of the plan in the Flexbone offense. Lancers trying to get the Lions to jump as they sent Hayden Foley in motion. Still 15 on the play clock. And now they'll give it to Foley, who's going to be stopped short, well short. Only gained about a yard, and that'd be a pretty optimistic take on the yardage. So this sets up a pretty big 4th down here, as at the 36-yard line, 4th down and 4 for the Lancers. We'll see what kind of play they're going to run here. This 4th and 4 isn't exactly the ideal situation for the Wishbone offense. Still very doable, however, as Piercy leading his troops up to the line. He's got 5 on the play clock. And looks like they're going to take the timeout. They didn't really get up to the line of scrimmage in time to try and draw the Lions offside. And we're going to take a quick commercial break here on 810 Varsity. We got Shawnee Mission East leading Lawrence 14-7.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
All right, we're back in Lawrence, Kansas, where the Shawnee Mission East Lancers were trying to pull off the upset tonight against the Lawrence Lions. Got Lancers at 0-2, Lions at 2-0. Lancers have a big 4th down and 4 here. So they come up in the Wishbone. As Piercy going to fake the handoff, and he's going to be stopped short. The Lions defense comes up with the stop, sets up their offense at their own 35-yard line. 2:34 to go here in the first half. And that's big because if the Lancers would have picked up that first down, they may have been able to run it pretty close to the end of the half. And if they would have scored, would have gotten the ball right back to start the second half, the Lancers will be receiving the second half kickoff. As Bowen comes out in the empty backfield, this is the formation that they were able to get that big play on the last drive. He's going to throw a slant, and it's going to be dropped up the middle and set up a 2nd and 10. Lions moving quickly back to the line of scrimmage, even if it was an incompletion. Bowen once again with 5 wide receivers. Going to motion a man, and he's going to keep it up the middle, and he's only going to get about 3 yards as the clock will run here with 2:20 to go in the second quarter. Set up a 3rd down and 6. And if the Lancers are able to get the stop You wonder if they will burn their second timeout. They used one earlier in the half, and I think actually there should be one timeout remaining for them. So they used one just before the break, before that fourth down, and now Lawrence is going to be using a timeout. So Clint Bowen didn't like the look that he had, and we're going to take a timeout with you as you're listening and watching on 810 Varsity. All right, we are back in action here. 3rd down and 6 for Lawrence. It's Banks Bowen quarterbacking the Lions. His dad, head coach Clint Bowen, called the timeout before the last play. He's going to take the snap. It's going to be an option to the left. He's going to take it, and he's going to be stopped right at the marker. Looks like he's going to be just a bit short, and neither team biting on a timeout right now. 4th down and 1 here. Lions obviously up to the line quick, as they do. And now the Lancers are all the way in the backfield before the ball is even snapped. And that's one way to get a 4th down and short conversion. And move the chains here with 1:25 to go in the second quarter. Lions have 2 timeouts remaining and are now at the 49-yard line. As Bowen with a running back to his right. And he's going to drop back and try to throw it to his wide receiver on the right side, but that pass was low and incomplete. 1:12 to go. So Lions trying to find a way to tie the score up before halftime. Lancers trying to get set before the Lions snap the ball, and they look ready to go now. Bowen takes a snap. Lancers rush 5, and Bowen gets rid of it nicely, and getting the catch and getting out of bounds was Malcolm Paul. As Paul with good awareness there to find the sideline, and wasn't an easy route to get there either. Set up a 3rd down and 3. As Bowen gets the signal, the Lions will line up. Bowen's got a running back to his right. Got a receiver here on the near side of the field. He's going to do a draw play here, and up the middle go the Lions. And that's a good carry there. Once again, Malcolm Paul, boy, has he put his stamp on this drive. And Clint Bowen's going to call a timeout here with 58 seconds to go at the 36-yard line. And we're going to stay right here as the Lions are looking good so far on this drive. You wonder how much the clock is going to play a factor here, as they only have 1 timeout remaining. And 35 yards to go. We've seen on their lone touchdown drive just how explosive they can be, but you can't always count on that kind of explosiveness, especially now that they are deep into Lancer territory. As this game got off to a rocky start for the offense. First, they fumbled a snap on a 3rd down, and the ball took an unfortunate bounce, and Shawnee Mission East scooped it right up. And then they lost a lot of yards on the next series after going down 7-0, and the punt just did not serve its purpose. Shawnee Mission East took over from the Lawrence 20-yard line and made it 14-0 very quickly after that. The 2-0 Lions trying to get back into this one against the 0-2 Lancers. Shotgun here for Bowen. He's going to drop back. Lancers only bringing 4. He's able to step into it. Launches a deep one. And what a beauty of a throw by Banks Bowen. Touchdown, Lions. As Mason Moseman with the catch. He had beaten everybody, and he was behind the defense. Beautiful throw from Bowen. And good pocket he had, too. The offensive lineman really allowed him to step into that one. And just an uncontested throw, and he took advantage of the opportunity and really did a good job with it. With 51 seconds to go, the extra point ties the game here at 14. 51 seconds to go in the first half. And what a turnaround this has been as Lawrence got down early. Big time touchdown catch there for Moseman, as he caught a touchdown last week and had a grand total of 2 receiving yards off of that 1 touchdown reception. And this one will stuff the stat sheet a little more. So this game is tied at 14. And Shawnee Mission East not going to gun it down the field as they go into the wishbone offense. We'll see how they decide to play the final 51 seconds of this half. Can't imagine they'll be too ambitious. As Lawrence to kick off, it's going to be a squib kick and going to be fielded at the 32-yard line, and not going to get much further are the Lancers, as Carter Rose was the one who fielded it. As the Lancer offense takes the field, 47 seconds remain, as they're going to be on the right hash. Again, not expecting too much ambition here for the Lancers. They'll probably be content to go into halftime and come out for the second half and receive the kickoff.
That was in the script, by the way.
But we'll see what they do. Going to motion a man to the left and give it right up the middle, and tackled quickly there. Up to the 39-yard line, gain of 5 yards. And it looks like the Lancers just aren't going to have to snap it, as there's a very minimal difference between the game clock and the play clock. And they indeed do not have to snap it unless they want to. They come up to the line like they will and do. Going to give it on the outside and to the left, trying to get the first down. Looks like he's going to be giving it is Carter Rose. 8.3 seconds to go. Will the Lancers call a timeout? And they will not. That'll take us into the half with the score tied up here. Shawnee Mission East 14, Lawrence High 14. You're listening to 810 Varsity, and we'll be back for the second half here in a little bit.
That carryout comes in clutch.
Welcome back to Lawrence, Kansas, as we have a good battle brewing here tonight between the Shawnee Mission East Lancers and the Lawrence High Lions. 14-14, not what a lot of people were expecting coming into tonight, as the Lions came in tonight with a 2-0 record and dominant wins in their first two games. And Shawnee Mission East with an 0-2 record and lost to Gardner Edgerton 42-7 and Olathe East 34-14. So there is a little bit of trouble brewing here, as Lawrence will kick off to Shawnee Mission East to start the second half. And this game just got off to a bizarre start, as Lawrence received the kickoff and was ready to get driving down the field. They had third down and medium, and then the snap was a bit high for Banks Bowen, who tipped it up into the air, and then the ball bounced back toward the Shawnee Mission East defense. Unfortunate bounce for the Lions, as Shawnee Mission East came up with the ball in deep in their territory, deep in Lawrence territory, and punched it in with ease, it seemed like, to go up 7-0 to start this game. Then shortly after, Lawrence offense lost a lot of yards when Banks Bowen took a big sack. And then the punt only went about 10 yards, which really set the Lions defense up for failure once again, as the Lancers drove just 20 yards to double their lead at 14-0. But then the tide started to shift a little bit, as the Lions, on their two most previous possessions, have scored touchdowns, as both of them were some pretty decent drives put together. But I'll tell you what, that second touchdown to tie the game, when Banks Bowen found Mason Moseman, Bowen threw a perfect ball, and his offensive line had a great protection plan there, as Bowen stayed in the pocket and just delivered an absolute beautiful strike to tie the game up at 14. And that's where we stand now. And Shawnee Mission East running the exact opposite offense as Lawrence High School, as Lawrence is, spreading the ball out, going no huddle. Shawnee Mission East, wishbone offense. They're keeping the ball in between the tackles. They're running the clock. And so just a battle of polar opposites taking place here in Lawrence tonight. And we're going to bring that second half to you and take a break here on 810 Varsity. We'll be back with your second half in just a minute. We're back in Lawrence, Kansas. Joe Blake with you tonight on 810 Varsity, as Lawrence received the opening kickoff and will kick off to the Lancers to start the second half. Lions were able to erase a 14-0 deficit and put the Lancers on their heels here. We'll see how they respond. They got the ball back with about 47 seconds, I think it was, at the end of the second quarter. Not enough time to really do much of anything if you're in the flexbone offense. As the second half is underway, it's a short kick. It's going to find a sweet spot and hop off of a Shawnee Mission East Lancer and go out of bounds, as it was Nate Phillips who was victim to the high bounce. And that puts the Lawrence defense in good position. Shawnee Mission East is going to have to work from deep in their own territory. And maybe that ball goes out of bounds, maybe it doesn't. But regardless, Shawnee Mission East would have loved to see Phillips grab that and get a few yards with it as opposed to what just happened there. So the Lancers will come out once again in the wishbone. They're going to stay in it for a good portion of this one, and they're going to give it right up the middle, back again to Jack Reeves, sophomore, 175-pound running back. Reeves has been the workhorse all night for Shawnee Mission East. As the only way that Shawnee Mission East has been stopped so far tonight has been on some self-inflicted wounds. The first time they were stopped, they fumbled a toss sweep, lost about 10 yards, and then the second time they fumbled a snap. So they come back into formation, and they're going to get wrapped up pretty early there, create a third down and about 5 here. And this will be a opportunity for the Lions to take control of the game if they can get this stop here.
3-yard gain on the previous play brings up 3rd and 5.
As Shawnee Mission East takes their time in the huddle. They've been doing it all night. It will be the complete opposite when you see Lawrence offense take the field. And it's going to be a counter play. Reeves is going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. The Lawrence defense was all over that one. And that'll set up a decision here. And looks like it'll be a pretty easy decision to punt the ball away for the Lancers. Big opening stop for Lawrence. You didn't want to see Shawnee Mission East come out and control the clock and control the running game like they did on the first 2 drives of the game if you were a Lawrence fan. So Shawnee Mission East to punt. Lawrence with a returner just inside midfield. And the punt up in the air going toward the sideline, and it'll take a Shawnee Mission East bounce, but is fielded at the 45-yard line where the Lions will take over on the right hash. So we'll see how this Lawrence High offense will do here. They're 3rd in 6A in yards per game with 444.5 yards per game. As Banks Bowen, the son of head coach Clint Bowen, in the shotgun. 2 receivers on each side, going to motion one in. He's going to fake the handoff to him, and he is going to evade a couple of Shawnee Mission East tacklers and get past the line of scrimmage for about a 2-yard gain. Could have been worse. Made a little something out of nothing there. Bowen now with an empty backfield. High snap, looking to get it off quickly, and a slant route is going to be caught over the middle. Nice throw and catch there. And moves the chains for Lawrence. As Malcolm Paul has just been the Swiss Army knife for Lawrence tonight. Doing everything, catching the ball, running the ball. And what a job he's done so far. He caught the big touchdown pass from Bowen earlier in the game, the one that tied the game. Now Bowen has a clean pocket, gonna escape now to the right, sets his feet and throws across his body, incomplete. As looked like he could have stayed in that pocket a little bit longer, but was able to set his feet. And that'll set up 2nd down and 10 here. 8:38 to go here, 3rd quarter. Lawrence with a little bit of a drive cooking. Got trips left and a running back to Bowen's left. And trying to do a screen, and Bowen drops the ball. Now having to improvise, lowers the shoulder, and just gets back to the line of scrimmage. And just not good execution there, as he was trying to get the ball fired out there quickly, and maybe too quickly, as he put the ball on the turf. Setting up a 3rd down and 10 from the 33-yard line. Bowen will have an empty backfield, 5 wide receivers, 3 to the left, 2 to the right from the right hash. So looking to go quickly now, trying to go downfield. He's got a man, but he just led him too far, as Mason Moseman was open in the end zone, but it appeared that the connection was just not there, setting up a 4th down and 10. And looks like the Lions are going to keep the offense on the field with 7:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Not really a situation where you can punt, not really a situation where you can kick a field goal. You might as well. Bowen with a running back to his right, 3 wide receivers to his left. Gets the snap. Lancers bring 4, and that's going to be enough to sack Bowen at the 44-yard line, where they will take over. Good pass rush there from Shawnee Mission East. And they are hanging around tonight, as they are looking for their first win of the season, and also to end the undefeated bed from the Lions. As clock is running right now, probably shouldn't be, but with 7:15 to go, they stop the clock there. Nobody on the field seemed to notice, and will play on as the Lancers will run counter action and get 3 yards. And the more that clock runs, the better it is for Shawnee Mission East. They're going to want to try to get that time of possession number way up. They're just keeping everything between the tackles. Taking their time here, as quarterback Luke Piercy just now enters the huddle with 18 to go on the play clock. Piercy under center, and he's going to go for a pass here. First time we've seen this from the Lancers tonight. It's going to work beautifully, and a good catch and run there. That's Ben Taylor. As first pass of the night is a good one, and the fake handoffs were all over the place. Really a good job to misdirect the Lawrence defense. And Shawnee Mission East, 29th in 6A in passing yards per game with 39.5. Almost got half of that there on that play. Piercing under center once again. Motion man to the left, and he's going to keep it this time and barrel through. And good carry there by the quarterback, bringing it inside the 30-yard line, as we are under the halfway point here in the 3rd quarter, as Lancers, again, content to eat the clock. 2nd down and 3 is always going to be favorable for the offense that's in the wishbone. Piercy under center. Counter action here for the Lancers, and that'll move the chains and bring it down to the 20-yard line. And another good push from the Shawnee Mission East offensive line. Nate Phillips was the one who got the carry. Phillips, a 195-pound junior. Now Shawnee Mission East picking up the pace a little bit. So they're up to the line with 20 to go on the play clock. Motion man to the right. And we've seen the Lions jump a few times on that motion tonight. Stayed disciplined this time. And now they'll counter. Going to the outside are the Lancers, looking for the sideline, and almost getting it there was Hayden Foley. But he still gains a solid 8 yards there. As the Shawnee Mission East offense has Lawrence on their heels here. Looks like that carry is going to be closer to 6 yards than an 8. 2nd and 4, it shows on the scoreboard. Piercy under center. And he's going to give to the first guy through. And that'll be close to a first down. I don't think it will be, but it'll put the Lancers in a good position with 3rd down and short. Jack Reeves has been getting a lot of carries tonight.
3-yard gain brings up 3rd and 1 for the Lancers from the 11.
The Lawrence High crowd trying to generate some noise here for the 3rd down. As Piercy gets his team up and fumbles the snap, and this is going to be close to see who has it. And it appears that they got the recovery and moved the chains with it. And coming up with the recovery was number 78, Pearson Hardy. And it wasn't enough to move the chains. All right. That was a very interesting way to get a first down, but the Lancers have done it, as there seemed to be some confusion there on the visitor sideline as to whether or not to set the chains down, but that does set up 1st down and goal. Shawnee Mission East is going to get a solid carry there, about 2 yards, as they give it to the first guy through once again. We go under 3 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. Lancers just eating up the clock. The combination of running backs like Jack Reeves and Nate Phillips has been good for the Lancers. Piercy, and the hard count there is going to get the Lancers halfway home as Lawrence High once again jumps into the neutral zone. And it's always tempting as a defensive lineman, once you see the guy in motion and you hear the quarterback give the cadence, to think that the play is going to happen, but sometimes the Lancers are simply bluffing. And it's worked a few times for him tonight. Now Piercy, and there's that right there, another bluff there. This time Lions stayed disciplined. Here's the snap, and the Lions are all over that one, as they were able to just stuff that play, as they had guys in the backfield as the ball was being handed off. And that puts the Lancers in a tough position. 3rd down and goal from the 8-yard line. And really a tough position to be in for the Lancers. We'll see how they respond to it. After they take their time getting the play in and coming to the huddle, as there's 15 on the play clock, and Piercy is just now entering the huddle now with 10 seconds to go. Lancers going to have to hurry. Maybe time for a timeout. So they've got a wide receiver out to the left. First time we've seen this tonight. Piercy drops back. He's going to try to throw to him, and that ball is incomplete. And they were going for the slant route and unable to catch it. Ball was on the right hash, and the receiver was way out wide to the left. Really would have been a tricky play to pick up, especially with how wide the hashes are at this level. And are the Lancers going to try a field goal here with 1:31 to go in the 3rd quarter? And it appears so. Big point in the game right here. About a 25-yard kick from the right hash. And that is going to be shanked wide left. No good, as Ryan Dahan was the kicker for Shawnee Mission East. And the Lawrence Lions hold. And that is a gut-wrenching miss for Shawnee Mission East, who was just moving the ball so well in between the tackles throughout that drive. Now Lawrence will take over with 1:27 to go in the third quarter. And don't be surprised if we know the result of this drive before the end of the third quarter, as opposed to Shawnee Mission East, who takes their time. Lawrence will be looking to move the ball quickly as Banks Bowen is in the pistol. Going to motion a man to the left, and he's going to look quickly on a hook route, and he's got his receiver out of bounds, as that's a good pitch and catch there. Gabe Wingard with the catch. Last week, Bowen passed for 10 out of 18, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, Bowen back in that pistol, and another shaky snap of trying to avoid the pocket and lost the football while he's at it. And he got back on it, and that'll move the Lions back, set up about a 3rd down and 12. As the snap has been tough to deal with for Bowen all night, and was the main reason why the Lancers were able to get on the board with the first score of the game. And it is officially 3rd down and 13 for Bowen and the Lawrence offense. And he's going to give the ball on a jet sweep. That's Taj Edwards. And Edwards will get back to the original line of scrimmage. And it'll be about 4th down and 8. And Lions don't have to snap the ball again in this quarter. And maybe thinking about whether or not they want to punt or go for it. One of their punts only went for 8 yards, so may not be the worst thing in the world to think about going for it. Looks like they are going to punt, however. And it's a high snap, gets it off, but it is a good line drive punt that the Lancers are going to get an opportunity to return. And going upfield, doing a nice job of it for Shawnee Mission East was number 2, Joey Hoffman, as the punt was a line drive, gave him plenty of time to go to work as he went to the right and cut it up all the way down to the Lawrence 37-yard line to end the third quarter. No scoring took place in the third quarter as we head to the fourth quarter with Lawrence 14, Shawnee Mission East 14 on 810 Varsity.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper. At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Back in Lawrence, Kansas here as Shawnee Mission East looking to pull off an upset. They are inside of the Lawrence 40-yard line. And at 0-2 on the year, trying to upset the 2-0 Lions. And if they can keep the ball on the ground and finish drives with points, they'll have a chance to do just that tonight. As Piercy under center once again, and a quick handoff, and getting to the outside, Jack Reeves is going to score, and Shawnee Mission East takes the lead on the first play of the fourth quarter. 11:52 to go in this one, and the Lawrence Lions are on upset watch now. As first guy through, Jack Reeves. He's been waiting to break through all night, and for the first time, he was able to. As Shawnee Mission East has been able to move the ball with success, but it's never been with big chunks like that. First example of it shown tonight, as they'll look to go up 7 here with this extra point. We'll see how the confidence of Ryan Dahan is after missing the 25-yard field goal, and he makes it look routine as Shawnee Mission East goes up 21-14. Very quick start by the Lancers here in the fourth quarter. The third quarter, no scoring, and then first play of the fourth quarter, the Lancers were ready to get going. 21-14. Shawnee Mission East 0-2 on the year with a 42-7 loss against Gardner Edgerton to start their season, and then a 34-14 loss against Olathe East in week 2. Meanwhile, Lawrence High, they've been on the complete opposite end. Went on the road week 1 against Olathe South with a 41-22 win, and then beat Olathe West right here just a week ago, 49-14, but now find themselves on the ropes against a Shawnee Mission East team that is determined to run the ball. As they will kick off to the Lions, and that'll go into the end zone for a touchback. This will be a big drive here for Lawrence. So Shawnee Mission East defense has been able to get a lot of pressure on Banks Bowen. And they'll have to go 80 yards here if they're going to tie this game up on this drive. As Bowen has Malcolm Paul to his right. 2 wide receivers to the left. He's going to motion Paul out, and now it's going to be a quarterback draw. He's going to try to go to the outside, now cut back up inside and get the first down, and 5 more after that as he was dragged by a Shawnee Mission East defender. And that's a positive start there for the Lions. Officially 16 yards as they spotted at the 36-yard line. As Shawnee Mission East just took the lead on a Jack Reeves touchdown run about 35 yards out. Bowen takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and he's going to take it again. Now try to get past the secondary there as the free safety came up and made a nice play for the Lancers as Brady Houghton and Dahan were in on the stop.
7-yard gain, second down 3.
And the Lions moving quickly as expected. Bowen in the pistol, and he's going to give it this time, and that'll be a first down for Lawrence, and nearly breaking loose as he goes into Shawnee Mission East territory. Malcolm Paul. As Malcolm Paul, 7 carries for 27 yards last week. He's getting a lot more of the workload this week as he gets another carry, but this time it's going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And 79, Larry Banks got into the backfield for the Lancers. Lawrence trying to avoid the upset bid being presented by the Lancers. Bowen with a running back to his right. He's going to fake it to him, going to take it up the middle, and he's got a little room to operate as he crosses the first down marker down to the 35-yard line. The zone read's been working well for Bowen on this drive. And he moves the sticks once again. Lawrence was in desperate need of a response. As now Paul behind Bowen, and Paul's going to get the carry, and he's going to try to bounce it outside the numbers, and got about 7 yards. There's a flag on the field. Looked to be on the tackle. We'll see what it is. As the officials are conferring right now. And if it weren't for the flag, it'd be about 2nd and 4 set up. So we'll see how the play was impacted here. Looks like we've got holding against the offense. And I think it was thrown downfield, so it won't necessarily be 1st down and 20. And, yeah, it looks like it'll be about 1st and 13 or so for the Lions. The downfield block was not to the liking of the line judge there, who threw the flag, and was a spot foul. Good officiating there to make sure that they counted it as a spot foul. Now Banks motions into an empty backfield. It's going to look deep, and he's trying to find a man, and it's in and out of the hands of Malcolm Paul. There were a couple Lancers in the area, and a good ball there from Bowen, but Paul just unable to bring it in. Here with 9:41 to go. As the Lawrence Lions trying to, and I did not see the flag on the field, but I saw the referee tap on the top of his head, meaning that the Lions had an ineligible man downfield. So shooting themselves in the foot a little bit here, but you have to wonder if Shawnee Mission East should have declined it, because you got 1st down and 18 as opposed to 2nd down and 13 if you decline that penalty. We'll see how that decision goes here for the Lancers. And now Clint Bowen wants a timeout here with 9:41 to go. And the Lawrence Lions and their undefeated season is in jeopardy here, with the Lancers leading 21-14. You're watching on 810 Varsity. We'll be back in just a minute. We're back at Lawrence High School, where the Lawrence Lions, 2-0 on the year, and look to be one of the top teams in 6A, are in an absolute dogfight with their Sunflower League opponent, the Shawnee Mission East Lancers, who are 0-2 on the year. As 1st and 18 for the Lions. Again, we'll see if Shawnee Mission East would have benefited from declining the penalty and making it 2nd and 13, as Bowen with the zone read is going to try to get out to the numbers and toward the sideline, and he's going to get inside the 35-yard line. So what would have been 2nd and 13 had Shawnee Mission East declined the penalty. Turns into 2nd down and 10, so probably a decent chance to take there for the Lancers. 2nd down and 9 for Bowen and the Lawrence High offense. Bowen gives it up the middle, and once again, Malcolm Paul. Paul has been getting the majority of the carries tonight, as the week before against Olathe West, most of the running back carries went to Taj Edwards, and now another bad snap is forcing Bowen to improvise, and he's going to throw it away. And they have guys that are ineligible downfield once again. That was supposed to be a run play, and Bowen thought he could maybe throw that out of bounds and save the gain, save the loss from happening. But the Lions had already had offensive linemen that were downfield ready to run block. We'll see how the Lancers go about this decision. 2nd time in this series they've had to make it. Interesting decision. They could have had 4th down and 3 and really put the pressure on the Lions. Now 3rd down and 8, give them 2 more chances to do it. Bowen in the shotgun, running back to his left. And he's going to look to him in the flat and just threw it behind, setting up 4th down and 8. Turned out to be a good decision there, as Malcolm Paul was who he was looking for. And this could be a dangerous situation here for the Lions, just with how much time this Shawnee Mission East offense is capable of eating up on the ground. They've been doing it all night. And if they get this ball back here, you can bet that they're going to be looking to do it again. Bowen checking at the line of scrimmage, still 18 on the play clock. And now Clint Bowen, the head coach, is going to call a timeout for his son. And we're going to go to a commercial break here before this big 4th down with 9:06 remaining. And Shawnee Mission East on top of Lawrence, 21-14.
That carryout comes in clutch.
We're back in Lawrence, Kansas, as the Lawrence Lions are on upset watch right now. 2-0 on the year with pretty comfortable wins in their first 2 games against Shawnee Mission East, who had some pretty uncomfortable losses in their first 2 games. So really the complete opposite teams lining up against each other tonight. Big 4th down and 8 here for the Lions if they want to stay in this game. Banks Bowen, the quarterback, takes the snap. Now he's flushed out to his left. Is he going to try to run for it? He's still looking downfield, and the ball is tipped, and Bowen catches it, but he is going to be stopped short, unable to pull off the Marcus Mariota special there. And now Shawnee Mission East takes over with 8:56 to go and a 7-point lead. And if you haven't been with us all night, the Lancers are a team that is very capable of running out some clock. That is what they've been doing all night, and it's what they're going to continue to try to do here and try to pull off this upset bid. 8:56 to go. They're going to line up in the wishbone, keep it between the tackles here against the Lawrence defense. And tonight, Shawnee Mission East, their defense has played well, but sometimes their best defense can be their offense, keeping Lawrence's offense off the field. That's what they'll look to do here as they try to go outside now. And going to the outside and getting to the 40-yard line was the Shawnee Mission East running back. This time it was 25, Hayden Foley, and he did enough to move the chains. The only complaint for Shawnee Mission East is that he went out of bounds. Now, they're probably not thinking about it at this stage in the game, but that's something that they've been able to thrive at all night and would benefit them if he could have been able to keep the clock rolling. So they get it to the 40-yard line as coming to the line is Piercy. Piercy hands it off, and Phillips is looking for some room, and he sheds off a few tackles and gets about 4 yards there. And now the clock will run, and the Shawnee Mission East offense, they will tire out a defense. That's what a wishbone offense can do to you. As you saw there, a couple missed tackles from the Lions that weren't necessarily happening earlier in the night. It seemed like the Lancers were just taking whatever yards they could get. Now they're able to get some more yards after contact. And it looks like this one's going to be a false start against the Lancers, and that'll be killer as they want to stay ahead of the chains here on this drive that is meant to run out some clock. And that'll set up a 2nd and 11. We've only seen the Lancers try to pass twice on the night, once in the red zone and once on about a 2nd down and medium. This is 2nd down and 11. You wonder how the Lancers will approach this one. As there's 10 on the play clock here with now 7:45 to go in this one. Piercy going to hand off to the first guy through, and he's going to be stuffed pretty quickly. Set up a 3rd down and 9, 3rd down and 8 here for the Lancers. And this is a big play. If the Lions can get this ball back, it'll be give the Banks Bowen and the rest of that explosive Lawrence offense that's 3rd in 6A in yards per game a chance to tie the game up. 3rd down and 8 officially here in Lawrence. Lancers taking their time in the huddle. They break it with 13 seconds to go before they need to snap it. They've got a wide receiver all the way out to the left here. Piercy drops back, is looking to throw on the wheel route, and that is going to be incomplete. Looked like there was some contact there as Piercy was looking for Nate Phillips, and a late flag comes in, and I think that's the contact that I was seeing there. Looked like Ben Marker bumped in to Phillips there. And discussions now coming in between the referee crew here. This is a crucial call. If this is, in fact, a defensive holding or a pass interference, it's an automatic 1st down and keeps the Shawnee Mission East offense on the field for at least 2 more minutes. And they are going to call the pass interference against the Lions. And that's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down. And that is a big, big break for the Shawnee Mission East offense, as it didn't even seem like Phillips and Piercy were on the same page, but Marker just did not look for the ball at all as he immediately went to hit Phillips, who was unable to locate the ball. Regardless, the flag was thrown. Shawnee Mission East has the ball now. The Lawrence 43, 6:51 to go. They're going to put that receiver back out here on the near side, go with the first guy through, and that was about 2 yards optimistically. And Shawnee Mission East, again, will run the clock. Got it to the 41-yard line. That will be 2 yards officially. Shawnee Mission East will huddle and take their time. Banks Bowen and the rest of the Lawrence offense just hoping they can get a chance to get the ball down 7 to try and tie this one up. Piercy leading his troops up to the line. 7 on the play clock. And he's going to keep it this time, and he's going to be wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. They're maybe going to give him a half yard there. Set up a 3rd down and 7 as we move under 6 minutes to go in this one. Shawnee Mission East looking for the upset tonight.
1 yard gain on the previous play brings up 3rd and 7.
3rd down and 7. We'll see if the Lancers go for their 4th pass of the night, as they've had success on 2 out of 3 pass attempts tonight. Only 1 completion, but the 3rd one you just saw a couple moments ago, a pass interference call that moved the chains for them. They line up in the wishbone. And Piercy is indeed going to drop back, feeling some pressure, going to gun it, and intercepted. And there's room to run for the Lions. This one is going to go all the way back for a touchdown. This game is tied with an extra point. And what a play there by Xander Thomas. Xander Thomas came into this game and was just an unbelievable player at safety for the Lions. 22 tackles on the year, and now his 3rd interception, and he just made a big-time play with 4:59 to go in this one. My goodness, that is just not what the Lancers were looking for there. And now an opportunity to tie it with 4:59 to go. The all-important extra point. Xander Thomas with the big play. And the extra point is right through there. And so with 4:59 to go in this one, it is 21-21. And Xander Thomas made the play of the night so far and sets up a final 5 minutes that's going to be very interesting to see, as Shawnee Mission East is going to receive another kickoff, and they're once again going to be looking to run the ball, run the clock. You just saw Piercy throw an interception, and Xander Thomas get his third interception of the year, and just a phenomenal safety there that the Lawrence Lions have, and now they have all the momentum. But the Lancers can't get too pessimistic here, as they're going to get the ball back. And with 4:59 to go and the pace that their offense moves, they can really move the ball down the field and leave a limited amount of time for the Lions to go down and score. But my goodness, was that just what the Lions needed. Xander Thomas, remember that name, as the senior at just 5'11", 185 pounds, makes his presence known all over the field. And no play has been bigger than that from him this season. So Lawrence will kick this ball back to Shawnee Mission East. And it'll be a short kick, and it'll be caught at the 30-yard line by a Lancer, and he'll get up to the 37-yard line, as there was a good amount of Lawrence Lions waiting for him, as number 84 for the Lancers, Chris Beichman, a tight end. And now from the 38-yard line, the Lancers will take over and look to score and go ahead with 4:55 to go. Pick six was a big play for the Lions, but they are not out of the woods yet from this upset. Piercy hoping to just keep the ball on the ground this time are the Lancers, and fighting for extra yardage there was Nate Phillips. Phillips gets it across the 40-yard line, about 4 yards there. And it's going to be a while before we see the Lancers really hurry. They've got 3 timeouts as opposed to Lawrence's 1. So it's do or die time for the Lawrence defense. They're going to need this stop if they want to have a chance in this one. Piercy is going to give it on a counter, trying to get the outside, and he's got it. And that's a good carry all the way down to the 40-yard line for number 25, Hayden Foley. And now with 4:07 to go, that stops the clock by going out of bounds. Shawnee Mission East is driving once again. Almost certain you won't see them put the ball in the air anytime soon after being forced to on the last drive and throwing a pick six. That's not their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is what you've seen the past 2 plays. Piercy under center. And it's going to be another counter. And this time the Lions were there in the backfield, but dragging a man in for a 2-yard gain was Nate Phillips. Good carry there. Gained about 4 extra yards there. Made a 2nd and 12, a 2nd and 8. Very manageable here for the Lancers. Clock keeps ticking as we go to 3:40 to go. And still just now 25 seconds to go until the Lancers need to snap the ball again. You can imagine they don't want to see Lawrence possess the ball again in this game. 2nd down and 8 from the 38. Piercy under center. And another counter here. And getting about halfway to the 1st down mark as Jack Reeves gets the carry. It'll set up about a 3rd down and 6 here, as 3 minutes to go now in this one.
2-yard gain on the previous play.
Just two complete opposites on the field. When Lawrence has the ball, they're looking to go quick, run as many plays as they can, go for big plays. When Shawnee Mission East is on the field, there's a lot of running clock, a lot of time in the huddle, and a lot of carries in between the tackles. 5 on the play clock here now. Piercy under center. Gets it off and gives it to the first guy through, as Jack Reeves was the one who got the carry. Sets up a 3rd down and about 2, or 4th down. 4th down and 2. This is a big play right here, as we're going to go under 2 minutes to go. This is the play of the game right here, as if the Lancers don't convert this, that's plenty of time for this explosive Lawrence offense to get down the field and get a score. If they do convert, Lawrence likely won't get the ball back in regulation. Man in motion, they try to draw Lawrence offside, and calling a timeout with still 6 on the play clock was the quarterback Piercy, and maybe could have let that go down to 1 before calling the timeout. But regardless, the clock is stopped at 1:44 with Shawnee Mission East trying to convert a 4th down and 2 from the Lawrence 32-yard line. And Lawrence on upset alert, as they came into this one 2-0 with 2 very healthy wins, as they defeated Olathe South 41-42 and Olathe West 49-14 in their first 2 games. But now the winless Shawnee Mission East Lancers trying to get into the win column for the first time this year. And what better way to do it than against an undefeated team that won their first 2 games so comfortably. Next week, the Lions will be back on the road as they go to Olathe East. And that'll be a good matchup there. And Shawnee Mission North will host Shawnee Mission East next week. So here we go, 4th down and 2. Game on the line right here for the Lancers and the offense. And now another timeout is called, as they were just trying to bluff the Lawrence defense into jumping off sides, as there still was plenty of time on the play clock that they could have kept trying to get them with the hard count, but they like to run that motion if they're going to get Lawrence to jump off sides. What a game we've had here tonight. It started out early with Lawrence just some self-inflicted wounds that set up the Shawnee Mission East offense deep inside of Lawrence territory, and Shawnee Mission East got up to a 14-0 lead early, but then Lawrence got it back to 14-14 at the half, and now here we are at 21-21 with 1:44 to go. 4th down and 2 for Luke Piercy and the Shawnee Mission East offense. And here's a snap. They give it to the first guy through, and that is a good push from the Shawnee Mission East offensive line. That's a 1st down inside the 30. And that clock stopped momentarily as the chains reset. And now it is running once again. Lancers don't have to snap the ball until there's 1 minute left, but they might need to pick up the pace a little bit now, because they used 2 timeouts, and they missed a 25-yard field goal pretty badly, so that's not really an option here. And Piercy having the Lancers re-huddle, and they now break the huddle once again. Under 10 seconds on the play clock. Piercy under center is going to give it to the first guy through, and stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And it looks like Lawrence doesn't want to call a timeout, and Shawnee Mission East is just not moving fast enough to put themselves in a position to score. They've only had 1 long carry on the night, and you can bet that Lawrence is going to play this run pretty cautiously, And we'll see if they break out the pass. But the last pass attempt they had was a pick six that put Lawrence right back in position in this game. Handoff goes, and Shawnee Mission East trying to get to the outside and tackled inbounds. And good tackle there by number 9, Ben Marker. And 25 on the carry. That's Hayden Foley. So Shawnee Mission East calls the timeout with 24 seconds to go at the 25-yard line of Lawrence. So they missed a 25-yard field goal earlier. Be a 42-yard kick from here. Most likely not an option for Shawnee Mission East. And Lawrence will have one timeout after this play is done. We'll see how they use it, or if they do. I think that they might be content to go to overtime if they were to tackle Shawnee Mission East inbounds. One thing's for sure is that if Shawnee Mission East is tackled inbounds, they're going to have to hurry up to the line of scrimmage if they want to get off another play. So it'll be interesting to see, because they have not been getting up to the line of scrimmage quickly. They like to take their time. They're a clock-chewing offense that is looking to keep the Lawrence offense off the field. And if this game does go into overtime, obviously no clock. It'll just be who does better on which possession. And now both teams will take the field. 3rd down and 7 here for the Lancers. Piercy leading his troops. He's got that wide receiver here on the near side. That's Christian Gooley. And Piercy drops back, looking for Gooley deep. And Gooley turned into a defensive back to bat the interception away. Good awareness there by Gooley. And now with 19 seconds to go, the Lancers took their shot to try to win the game. And this just creates a very interesting situation. No timeouts for the Lancers. Did they just throw one more to the end zone just like that? And they got 20 seconds left on the play clock, and Piercy's still with the coaches. Now he sprints into the huddle. And it was all the way on the left hash, the opposite side of the field from the Lancer sideline. They're going to have to be quick getting this play off. 5 on the play clock now. Piercy under center. Takes a snap, drops back. And now he's going to be sacked at the 25-yard line. A big-time stand from the Lawrence defense. And number 90, Andrew Nelson, comes up huge. The 5'10", 288-pound defensive tackle keeps Lawrence alive in this one with 15 seconds to go. And now the Lions with one timeout and at the opposite 26-yard line. How do they approach this? Do they try to go downfield and potentially put themselves in a position to score, or do they just take their chances in overtime with 15 seconds to go? You have to think that it wouldn't be too favorable for them to get anything too productive, but never say never. As Shawnee Mission East, they've got 5 guys over 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Clint Bowen's going to call his last timeout. So that probably eliminates any possibility of the Lions trying to get down and score. So overtime is looking to be on the horizon here, as with 15 seconds to go in a tie game, 21-21. Shawnee Mission East with a chance to come on the road and get an upset in the Sunflower League matchup. And once again, they'll come out, and they have 7 guys past the first down stick. And if the Lions do try to pass, they're just going to kneel this one. We are going to go to overtime here at Lawrence High School in a game that a lot of people were not expecting to be an overtime game. We now have it here. 0-2 Shawnee Mission East, who was not close to winning their first 2 games against Lawrence, who blew out their first 2 opponents. So we just have a good old-fashioned slugfest here in Lawrence. And the all-important coin toss coming up as the white hat officials looking for the captains for each team. Winner of the coin toss is going to want to go on defense first. Each team will get a possession, so you'll want to know what your offense needs when they take the field for their possession. As Clint Bowen is in discussions with the officiating crew here, and they have 3 minutes put up on the clock here in Lawrence to give a break. And we'll take a break too, as we have overtime. Stay right here on 810 Varsity. Overtime here in Lawrence, Kansas, as Shawnee Mission East and Lawrence are all knotted up at 21.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper. At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
That carryout comes in clutch.
We are back in Lawrence, Kansas for what has turned out to be one of the top games in the state of Kansas this week. The 0-2 Shawnee Mission East Lancers have come into Lawrence High School against the 2-0 Lions and just given them everything that they can handle, as we are all tied up at 21, as Shawnee Mission East a little late to the coin toss party at midfield. As I said before the break, winner of the coin toss is going to want to go on defense. You'll want to know what your offense can do, what they'll need to do when they go out on the field. And unfortunately, we don't have a mic for the referee, so we won't know for sure what's happening until we see some conclusive body language shown, as referee separates the two teams. The coin is flipped, and looks like he just gave the choice to Lawrence. And I'm not going to say too much until I know exactly what's happening. Shawnee Mission East won the toss, and they're going to play defense first. Lawrence, though, strategically playing on the side in which their student section is. That's on the left side of your screen. And so we'll move down to the red zone as Shawnee Mission East will play defense first. As it'll start from the 10-yard line. Lawrence High School, an explosive offense. Hasn't looked the part tonight, however, as they are 3rd and 6A with 444 yards per game going into this game. But the Lancers have, 1, kept them off the field, and 2, done a good job once they have been on the field. So here we go, overtime here in Lawrence, Kansas. Banks Bowen in the shotgun for the Lions. He's going to motion to an empty backfield, quarterback draw. Bowen up the middle, and Bowen's going to find a seam and score the touchdown to go up 27-21. And the Lancers will get the ball back and have a chance to answer that. And these extra points cannot be slept on here in the overtime period, as whoever scores more points on their drive is going to win the game. Big extra point here. Snap, hold, kick is up, and it is good. Lawrence leads 28-21, and now the Lancers will come out onto the field 10 yards away from a chance to tie, but you have to wonder if they do score this touchdown, and that's a big if because there's a lot of things that can happen, and you don't want to underestimate the difficulty of scoring from first and goal at the 10-yard line. But if they do score that touchdown, do they go for 2 in the win? And if I were a betting man, I'd think that they'd try to go for that 2-point conversion. But can't underestimate the difficulty of getting into the end zone here. This Lawrence defense is hungry now, and a turnover could win this game in one play too. A lot at stake here tonight. Shawnee Mission East looking for their first win of the season. Lawrence trying to keep their undefeated season alive. Piercy under center for the Lancers. And it's going to be a give up the middle, and 2 Lawrence Lions make the tackle very quickly. Be about a gain of 3. Set up second down and goal from the 7. As Xander Thomas, the one who made the all-important pick 6 to bring us to 21-21, made the stop there for Lawrence. Shawnee Mission East taking their time, even in overtime when there is no clock. It's just how they operate. Piercy up at the line here. Piercy gives it to the first man up the middle, and the Lawrence defense stuffs it. And that'll only be a gain of about 1. And there's a Lawrence Lion handing the ball back to the White Hat, but seems that the possession is going to stay with the Lancers. If the Lions were to come up with the ball, they'd win the game. 3rd down and goal from the 6. Shawnee Mission East, a very run-heavy offense. Is this a time that they drop back here? Piercy leading the troops up to the line once again. He's got 7 on the play clock. Takes the snap and rolls to the right, and he's got an easy dump throw, and that is going to be a touchdown. That's Jack Reeves. And now decision time for the Lancers. 27-28. And the question remains, looks like they're going to line up for the extra point. They do this look normally. They've done it every touchdown where they line up guys on the left. And, yeah, they're going to call a timeout here to discuss it, or at least it seemed that way. And now they're huddled up. It appears that this is going to come down to one play here. 12 on the play clock. Shawnee Mission East trying to pull off the upset over the 2-0 Lawrence Lions. And now a timeout called by Clint Bowen and the defense. We're going to keep it right here on 810 Varsity. The game is on the line with one play here in overtime. It is all or nothing here for the Shawnee Mission East Lancers. And they're just trying to pull off the upset on the road, get their first win of the year. Just has been a totally unexpected slugfest here tonight as Shawnee Mission East has come to play and are in position now to win the game by getting 3 yards. And I think if you were to ask the Shawnee Mission East coaching staff if they had one play to gain 3 yards to win this game, they would take that situation. And right now, they are taking it. 28-27 Lawrence here in overtime. 2-point conversion attempt looming as both teams taking their time in the huddle. Lancers are going to make sure that this play is perfect. So here we go. Lawrence High trying to get the stop to keep their undefeated season alive. Shawnee Mission East trying to get their first win of the season. Piercy, they may have been trying to draw them offsides there. They've done that a couple times tonight. And now they're going to take their timeout. They are playing chess out there, not checkers, as both teams use their allotted timeout in overtime. And that would have been a positive thing for the Lancers. Would have moved a 3-yard play to a 1.5-yard play. And now it looks like the Lancers are going to kick the extra point. Well, you got to applaud the attempt to try and make the distance 1.5 yards as opposed to 3 yards by the Lancers. Looks like they're gonna take their extra point. Gonna need a good snap, hold, and kick because the Lawrence Lions are gonna be trying to win the game by blocking this extra point. Here it goes, and it is routine as can be. 28-28. Why not more football on this beautiful Friday night here in Lawrence, Kansas? We're going to double overtime. What a game we have been treated to tonight. And I believe that since Shawnee Mission East got the ball second in the first overtime, that they'll start the second overtime with the ball. And the White Hat making a signal up to the press box as there's discussions as to what's going on here. Looks like Shawnee Mission East. And they're asking to put 2 minutes onto the clock here between the overtimes here. And it seems almost counterproductive to do so, but they are going to. So we're going to take a timeout here. Lawrence defense is already on the field ready to go. But with 2 minutes until the second overtime, and we're going to take a break. Stay right here on 810 Varsity as we have a great one tonight between Shawnee Mission East and Lawrence High.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper. At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
All right, we welcome you back here to Lawrence, Kansas. And for those of you who are just now tuning in, and we've noticed some increase in the numbers as this game has gone into a second overtime. Shawnee Mission East got out to an early 14-0 lead as the Lawrence offense went out there and shot themselves in the foot and put the Shawnee Mission East offense in good position to go up 14-0. But then right after that, Lawrence came out, tied the game at 14 going into the half. But then Shawnee Mission East responded with the first play of the fourth quarter as Jack Reeves took a long touchdown run to the end zone, make it 21-14. And then it appeared that Shawnee Mission East was in control of the game and was trying to run the clock out, found themselves on a 3rd and long, and threw a pick six. Getting his 3rd interception of the year was Xander Thomas. Very long interception return for a touchdown. I want to say 65 to 70 yards on the play. So now to begin the second overtime, Shawnee Mission East will get the ball first. Piercy under center. And he's going to hand the ball off, and Reeves is stuffed in the backfield. Big play there from the Lawrence Lion defense. They needed that one as Shawnee Mission East cannot afford to be behind schedule. And they had 3rd down and goal from the 6 last time and were able to complete a pass in the end zone to score a touchdown. But now makes it 2nd and 11, 2nd and goal from the 11, as now the Lancers from the right hash will operate. Piercy gets the play and runs back into the huddle. Back into that wishbone formation. Piercy, counter here. Can he get the edge? And he'll be able to get inside of the 10-yard line. And about the 7-yard line, that was Hayden Fowley on the carry there for the Lancers. He was trying to get that edge and wasn't able to quite do it. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and about 3rd down and 9. This is not a favorable position for the Lancers to be in with this run-heavy offense. And you wonder if they'll play for a field goal if they were to gain about half of what they need here. A lot of interesting scenarios could play out here. Certainly don't want to leave with 0 points and give the ball to Lawrence with a chance to score with just a field goal. Piercy under center. 3rd down and goal from the 9. He fakes a handoff in the pocket, going deep to the end zone, and it's in and out of the hands as Charlie Carroll was diving out for it, a valiant effort, unable to secure the catch. 4th down and goal from the 9. This is an interesting situation here for the Lancers. Piercy's going over, and I would imagine that they're at least going to try to draw the Lions off sides. So look for the Lancers to motion here and then call a timeout if they can't get the Lions to jump off sides. But maybe they will just straight go for it here on 4th and goal from the 9. But Piercy still hasn't gotten the play. 15 on the play clock. And now 10. They're clearly just going to call the timeout. And now the timeout officially comes as the 0-2 Shawnee Mission East Lancers will go back over to their sideline while on the far side of the field, while on the near side of the field, the 2-0 Lawrence Lions are going to try and come up with a plan for this 4th down and goal from the 9. I'm telling you, the play from Piercy to Carroll could have really, it was there, but just not the perfect combination of catch and throw there, as it was just a little too far for Carroll, who made a great effort to even put hands on it. And you know, the phrase goes, if it hits your hands, you got to catch it. But sometimes the amount of effort it takes to put the hands on the ball kind of makes it hard to come up with the catch. And it looks like the Lancers are going to go for the field goal. So this is a 27-yard field goal from the left hash. And it looks like the holder's going to move up, make it a 26-yard field goal from the left hash. That's Ryan Dehan. And a very slow approach. Did he get it over there? He did not. He pulled it to the left, was unable to get it over there. The Lawrence Lions can win the game with a field goal. And now this will be the chance for Lawrence to avoid the upset with a score here. What a game we've been treated to tonight here on 810 Varsity. Not a lot of people were expecting Shawnee Mission East to hang around as long as they have. And they still have a chance to get a stop here and keep themselves in this one. But if Lawrence scores, this one is over. Banks Bowen is in the shotgun, a wide receiver on each side of the screen, and a running back to his left. He's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. So Shawnee Mission East holding strong. They gave up the touchdown on the first play of the first overtime and come out stronger this time. Looks like they're actually going to officially mark it as a loss. And now Bowen, now with two wide receivers to the right, running back to the left. Motions him away, and another quarterback draw for Bowen, and the Shawnee Mission East defense is ready for it. And Bowen is slow to get up, and his helmet is off. So now, normally it'd mean that he has to come off of the field, but if the Lions were to call a timeout, they'd be able to keep him on the field. You don't want to take your quarterback off the field, and they do have that timeout. And looks like they will indeed take that timeout. Head coach Clint Bowen obviously wants to keep his son on the field. He's been fantastic on the night. And now sets up a 3rd down and goal from the 12. And we've got a little bit of mist coming down on the field right now, as this is turning into just the ultimate defensive showdown. 3rd down and goal from the 12. You have to wonder, at what point does Lawrence think about the field goal? How close do they have to get it? They've been perfect on the extra points all night so far, and Shawnee Mission East has been a little more ambitious with their kicker, but they have not made a field goal. They are 0 for 2, including the miss you saw just moments ago from 26 yards out. So now 3rd down and goal from the 12-yard line. And Bowen is not out on the field. I guess that rule, it has to still apply. Tyson Grammer is in at quarterback, the 5'11", 216-pound senior. Can he be the hero? He takes the snap, and he's going to follow some blockers, lower his shoulder, and he's not even going to get back to the 10-yard line. And now coming back onto the field is Banks Bowen. Now, is it to hold, because he does that, or is it to play quarterback? Looks like it's to hold. And tonight, the game will can be decided by the right foot of Andre Lafort, 159 pounds. The snap is low. The hold is good. Lafort's kick is up, and it is good. The Lawrence Lions survived the upset bid from Shawnee Mission East and improved to 3-0 on the year with a 31-28 overtime victory. What a game we were treated here tonight, as the Lawrence Lions celebrate at the 30-yard line. They narrowly avoided that one tonight. Shawnee Mission East just threw everything they could at them. It wasn't enough. My goodness, what a game this was. We want to thank you at 810 Varsity for joining us here tonight. As your final score, Lawrence 31, Shawnee Mission East 28. I'm Joe Blake, signing off for now.